Greetings cluster cookers, we made it through January. Sunday evening and going to try my hand at making some potato gnocchi with a pesto sauce. And pesto sauce will actually be made by a special guest, so she'll be joining us in a little while. So to make gnocchi, they're basically potato based. So I've got 2.5 pounds of potatoes, which I baked earlier for an hour. I'm going to use 1.5 cups of flour. I'm using 00 flour. You can also use all-purpose flour. I have 2 eggs. I have 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. And I have this, which is my new potato ricer. So the idea is with the potatoes, keep them as light and fluffy as possible. So using the ricer is better than using a traditional masher. So step 1 here is I'm just peeling my potatoes, just getting all the brown bits off, pop them in a bowl. And then I will rice them. So I actually cooked these last night and I've let them cool, and now I'm just going to peel them. It's a lot easier if you remember to think ahead to be working with a cool potato than it is with a hot potato, obviously. And then I'm going to just put them through the ricer, got a couple in. It's quite a gratifying feeling, this, quite nice. Okay, last bits. And that's what we end up with. Nice bowl of quite fluffy riced potatoes. And a bit that fell in the flour. Now I'm going to add to this 2 egg yolks, and I just want the yolk. So a little trick I learned recently is if you need to separate the egg yolk from the egg white, don't crack it on the side of a bowl or on an edge of a surface, because it's more likely that the shell will puncture the yolk. Instead, just do it on a flat surface. And you will now observe, he said with his fingers crossed, a flawless separation of yolk from white. Good enough. And here's another one. 2 for 2. Nailed it. So put my eggs in and put in my Parmesan, like that. Start putting the flour in the bowl. Just start stirring it in like this to make the dough. And when it's all mixed in together properly, I'll tip it out, put some flour on the surface. Okay, so that's all mixed together. Let's tip it out.
Can I?
Yes, carry on.
disturbing.
Well, you are disturbing me, but it's for a martini, so it's a just cause. Just keep working this. It's going to be quite crumbly at first, but it will come together.
It's a loud.
Don't get it all out. I mean, I don't want to leave any in the shaker. So we've got a bit more flour. It's a little on the damp side, so I'm just going to put it in roll it in a bit more of the flour, and that will dry it out. Why, thank you. Cheers. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it into 6 pieces, like this, more or less equal. And each one of these, we're then going to roll into a rope. Try and apply a even pressure all the way across it. Okay, this is about the thickness that I want, about 1/2 inch across. So just take my cutter, and then I'm going to make little pillows. So again, maybe about just over 1/2 inch in size, each one of these. And then to create the shape I'm looking for, just get a fork and just push it and pinch it like that, and that creates the ridges that will capture all of the sauce. So just push and pinch. All right. And there's going to be quite a lot of these, as you can see, but the great thing about these is you can actually freeze them. So any that you're not going to use straight away, just stick them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer, and you can cook them straight from frozen. It takes a few minutes, and that is how you make gnocchi. I could make the pesto myself, but instead I've decided to fly in an expert. Hi.
Hi.
Millie, what are the ingredients for the pesto?
2 cups of basil. 1 cup of pine nuts. 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. 3 cloves of garlic. Sea salt. And finally, olive oil.
Stop showing off.
First, you're gonna add the basil into your food processor. Next, you're gonna add your pine nuts into the food processor. Next, you're gonna add your Parmesan into the food processor. Then, you're gonna crush your garlic.
What are you going to crush it into?
The food processor.
Just checking.
Now, once all your garlic is crushed into the food processor, you're just gonna add a pinch of salt, and then gonna put the lid on the food processor. Make sure it's tight. Open it up, and you're gonna start pulsing it. Don't just turn it on, okay?
Why not?
Because you want it to stay chunky.
Chunky. Stay chunky, my friends.
You don't want it to be like a paste. That'll do it. Once it looks like this, you're ready to start slowly adding your oil. How much? Eyeball it. Say when. Also. Any opinions? I feel like it needs something. I don't know what.
More oil.
More oil?
Mm-hmm. Just make it a little bit looser. Happy?
That looks pretty.
Okay.
Pesto-y. Taste test. There's just one chunk of like garlic in there.
Oh yeah.
Pretend that's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
It's good. Didn't need anything. You're the expert. Flown in from Genoa.
I don't know what that is.
You've been there. In Italy.
Oh. My mistake. Tastes good to me.
Okay, good job.
Yep.
Okay, so final step in the process. It's a couple of days since I made the gnocchi, and now I'm going to cook them. So I've got a pan of boiling water, put some salt in, like that. I froze the gnocchi after I cooked them, but pretty simple. You just put them in here, like that. And we just wait for them to float to the surface, and that's how we know that they're done. And while I'm waiting for these to be done, I'm enjoying a delicious glass of Australian Shiraz, straight from the cellar door at Blewett Springs Organic Winery in McLaren Vale, South Australia. Look forward to a discount on my next case. Cheers. Okay, I see them starting to float to the surface. So I've got my little sieve here, and fish them out and put them in a bowl. Did I get them all? I think I did. Okay. So I have my gnocchi and I have my pesto sauce. Sorry, I have Millie's pesto sauce. Just a couple of generous spoonfuls of that. Mix it in. And dinner is ready. Buon appetito.